Hi guys, welcome back to the Between Me and You podcast. My name is Joella,
And I'm Suma.
and we are back. Sorry, y'all, we didn't see y'all last week. We just had to take care of some, in-house things, but we're back and we are better with more wiser. But recently this week I have been seeing a lot of conversation around the topic of modesty in like the Christian community, and I've seen like a lot of like Christian content creators just talk about like people been like speaking on like how they dress to church and how like they dress on like I guess their day-to-day life. And I was seeing a lot of conversation also about like how the way you dress doesn't reflect like who you are. And so I came across a podcast episode on the Christian Podcast 101, and they're having the conversation of should Christian women be wearing bikinis on the beach. But I'm gonna let you answer that, Suma. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think first and foremost with everything, especially when it comes to clothes and women, the first thing you have to do is like, what is my reasoning behind something? I think especially like with something like swimsuits and bikinis, like what is your reasoning behind wanting to wear something? Is it because oh like this is really great for swimming?
Right.
Oh, am I going like I want to take pictures in this outfit? Oh, like what is the actual reason behind it? And I feel like when we start to understand the reasoning behind things that we wear, we'll start to like dig deep and like, oh, this might be rooted in like vanity or this might be rooted in something else. And
Right.
for bikinis and also like knowing your body too, like for me, I'm personally not gravitated towards bikinis because of like my body type, like,
Mhm.
and it's just not something that like I personally would want to wear, and really hard to find like a good like full coverage swimsuit. But with the bikinis, like the first question you asked, it's like, what's the reasoning behind it? Like,
Mhm.
you have to know your reasoning behind it. And if you like start to like dig deep and think for yourself, if it's rooted in something that is not of God, then that is your answer.
Yeah, I agree. I think some of the points that were made in that podcast was kind of like misleading to in my perspective, simply because I think if you're saying that you won't wear, let's say like you won't wear a bikini around like your spiritual leaders and like your the woman in your life that you like hold a high value, because like you don't want to um I guess be seen in that light, like why are you dressed like that just because they're not no longer around, you know what I mean? And I think the reason why um I feel like the topic of like wearing bikinis to the beach is very interesting, because like you have a choice to wear another option. Like there is one pieces, you know what I mean, and there is cover ups. You have a choice to wear different things that do lean more towards what you believe in your values. You said your own, it's your own conviction, but I still think that that shouldn't be an excuse. Shouldn't use that the fact that it's your own conviction to dress a certain way. But yeah, that kind of just leads us into today's topic of what it means to be modest, or especially as a Christian in college, because we that's hard, but like what it means to be a modest woman of God in today's society, or what modesty even looks like. And I think I'm gonna pass it to you.
Modesty, I love the topic of modesty because it's one of those things that people don't like to talk about. And
Mhm.
anything people don't like to talk about, I love to talk about. So, the first thing when I think about modesty is that first and foremost, it's not just like the clothes we wear; it's a lifestyle. It's
Yeah.
like how we not just clothes but perceived, and like how like we want to carry ourselves as a child of God at the end of the day, especially as a young woman. Um, Young woman. I was supposed to say young woman, child of God, but that doesn't make sense. Just as a child of God.
Mhm.
But and for me personally, it's modesty is something that I'm growing into, and the older I get, like I you start to understand. And somebody said, so I don't know if it was a sermon I watched or whatever, but they're like, the closer you get to God, the more you're going to want to look like him and be like him. And that comes with modesty too. Like the closer I get to God, the more I understand why
Right.
like certain things, especially like when you're younger, oh like do this or dress like this and like cover your body in this way. It's because it's never for like, it's always for your protection and for like for yourself. It's never for an ulterior motive when it comes to God. And I had to learn that because it's like, oh, somebody's telling you like, oh, cover your body and like dress a certain way, but what is the reasoning behind it?
Right.
And we talked about this earlier. We're talking about like knowing yourself and knowing your body and how to
Mhm.
dress for a particular body type, because it is important. Like it's one of the things that I think is, if not the most misled topic,
Mhm.
especially now, because we have so many like people that you may look up to, and it's like, oh, if they're doing this and they don't talk about it, then I can do it too, the
Right.
same way they're doing it. But like, you don't know their personal convictions, like their body is different, like everything is different. People need to do, especially like when you're younger, I feel like they need to do a better job at like explaining it and telling you like as you grow things are going to change, like
Right.
you're going to change, the way you dress is going to change. Like something I wore when I'm 12, I'm not going to wear now, you know? And that goes apart with modesty. Like if
Mhm.
nobody's telling young girls this stuff, who's how are you going to know? You're just going
Right.
to like keep going with what you've always been taught.
I definitely agree with that. One thing that I heard um this past week was that every time you are tempted to be careless with your body, remember that there was a price that was paid for your body. And it reminds me of the verse First Corinthians 6 verse 19, and it says, don't you know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have from God? You are not your own, for you were bought at a price, so glorify God with your body. And yeah, I think a lot of the times we forget that like a price was paid for the body that we live in. So how we choose to represent this body is really important, because if we say that we want to be set apart from the world and want to be look like God and look like Christ, like we shouldn't want to also dress like the world as well. And I think a lot of the time clothes is such like a sticky topic, because like women don't want to be told how to dress, like, and I agree, like I don't want to be told my dress is too short. I don't want to be told like I can't wear this because it's higher than my knees or whatever. I don't want to be told that. But like you said, as you grow closer to God, you want to reflect God. And it's like, well, I don't want everyone to look at me in a lustful way. And I remember there's a TikTok talking about how like um I I it was like, I think I drive men away because I feel like they're lusting for me. Like the way we dress has it evokes a certain attention. And let's say we are like, very revealing in our clothes and everything, that's our own conviction, we're not convicted by that. Even though you're not convicted by that, somebody else is lusting after you. And I think the conversation of saying like, oh, teaching women to be modest but also not teaching men to like not lust after women, like that's true, that there's an argument there. But I think it also comes to the fact that like how you dress causes a certain attention and evokes a certain mood. So if we're saying that we need to teach men how to not lust after women, then we also have to take accountability for ourselves to also acknowledge how we dress and how what type of role it plays in today's like social dynamic between women and men.
Exactly what you said. And ooh, there's something that you said, and I was trying to think of my words very carefully because like I hope this doesn't come off as wrong, but I'm still gonna say it. But you know when like it's kind of like it's kind of like if you have like an animal like a jaguar or whatever that likes like meat, like if you're dangling something in front of the
Yeah.
animal, like it's only so long. I'm not saying like anything that anybody does is like justified in any way, shape, or form, but like the way you dress is going to bring certain type of attention. Like it's the truth. Like, and I know for myself because it's like it's something I've been feeling convicted on too. Me and Jola were talking about earlier because
Mhm.
I'm an avid gym goer. I love gym clothes. We were talking about different fashion styles, and,
Right.
and she was saying, oh, like athletic is not more of her, but like I stay in athletic clothes,
Right.
but like the closer I've gotten to God, and like I was telling her earlier, I've just felt convicted more like, oh, more so if I'm going to gym, like maybe like a long sleeve with
Yeah.
leggings rather than like a sports bra and leggings. You know what I mean? Or like something that's more covered up, or a big t-shirt and shorts rather than just like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I've had personal convictions, and it's because of the type of attention that I've gotten dressed
Mhm.
that type of way, if I'm being honest. And like people just don't want to admit the truth. It's the truth. The way you dress, if you think about it this way, the first thing someone sees about you is your body. Before you even speak, before they see the cross necklace on your neck, before anything, they see you. And like that's what they're going to perceive you. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but that's the world we live in. If the opposite gender sees, or if a man sees me and I'm in revealing clothing, they're probably not gonna come up to me, "Hey, woman of God, how are you doing today?" Right. Do you know, like, we have to stop like making it seem like something is not, and it's call it what it is. And that's the issue with modesty in our generation right now. People don't like being confronted when like the truth is going to hurt in any situation. It's the truth. It's literally the truth. And that's how I feel with modesty now too, because it's like until somebody called me out, like I was the same way. I'm the first one who said I'm the same way, like because my mom would always be like, "Oh, like if you're going to the gym, you need to." I was like, "You don't understand. I sweat a lot. Like I need to be wearing this." But it's the truth. And it's hard, but like the closer you get to God, he's going to reveal that to you and you're going to want to change also. I don't think it's one of those things where it's like, oh, you're just going to stay in this position. No, the closer you get to God, and if you're actually seeking God, he's going to reveal those things to you and he's going to give you the reason. And then like you also can't get mad when you attract certain type of men. Like, why am I attracting the same type of men all the time? But it's like what they see, like, and even like what you post, that goes with modesty too. Like, modesty is not just clothing; it's so much other stuff. And I think it's really important too on social media because like that's the we use social media so much. So like, if somebody sees you like, oh, well, this girl has this Christian podcast and she's doing all these Christian stuff, but like this is how she's presenting herself. It's kind of like a double standard.
I feel like modesty first starts with how you view yourself and then how you view God as well. And I think in First Corinthians, I forget where, but it says that God has put together our body so we should honor it. And I think we forget that like our body is not our own. Right. So how we do choose to present it is a reflection of how we love God and how we respect God. 100%. So that, and I honestly do believe that like the conversation with like people saying, well, I should be able to come to church being able to feel comfortable. That is 100% true. But would you go to a job interview wearing a crop top and ripped jeans? You probably wouldn't, because you want to gain respect. You want them to see you in a certain light. So if you're going to a church with that same type of attire, a crop top and ripped jeans, or a mini skirt, whatever the case may be, like, don't you want to gain respect from God? Like you want to represent yourself the same way God sees you. And I think modesty in today's generation is so hard because we see what these we see what the girls be wearing nowadays. You know what I mean? Like even for example, what Suma was talking about when she was looking at bathing suits, because we're about to travel soon, and I was looking at like dresses and like everything was either too short or too revealing. And I told her, I was like, dang, like if it's hard for the Christians, think about the Muslims. Like it's hard. Like the dress would be cute, but then it'll be like a super deep V, or the dress would be cute, it'll be like have a cutout under the breast part. And I'm just like, man, like I want to be cute. Is not giving that because it's hard. It's hard because we want to represent God in our bodies, but it's like everything that is being pushed out right now to the media is, self love. Wear whatever you want. You know what I mean? It's your body. It's your own. It's not your body. We are part of the body of Christ. So how we represent ourselves, we're representing Christ as well.
She just took all. I was even gonna ask her a question, but she already answered the question before I could ask. I was going to ask, like, do you find it hard now to like shop for modest clothes? I can answer first because you just spoke, but I honestly do, cause like I literally like, yesterday I actually got a pair of shorts. I didn't tell you, but I got a pair of shorts. But like shorts and stuff like that is so hard to find because it's like, wait, where's the material? Like, where are for shorts now? It's so tiny, and other stuff. Like, it's really hard to find something that's like I would feel comfortable wearing this. And I feel like a good judgment too is like, would you be comfortable wearing it in front of your parents? Would you be comfortable? People always say like grandparents, but like Nana doesn't really care. Like parents for me, because like, would I be comfortable wearing this in front of my parents? And like, if I'm not, then I probably won't buy it. But like, I do think it's harder now to shop because what is promoted now, especially for women, is to look hot and to look like, oh, who has the best body. And even it goes into like gym culture, which I don't want to stray too far away, but like, this is something that's like I always think about, because like the gym now, like what you see, I was about to make a comment. I stopped myself. What you see, like clothes wise, is insane. Like, it's actually insane. Even if you scroll on TikTok and you're on like gym talk, like it's just very like, wait, where is the like, there has to be a line somewhere, because it's like there's nothing. But for the question, I'll go back to the question. Is it hard to find like modest clothes now? And it's like, yes. If you're actively searching, then no. But like, to say like, oh, I'm going to go into the store and I'm gonna find this, you're probably not gonna find it.
Yeah, I would say, okay, me personally growing up, I don't think I've ever had a problem with modesty just because like I've always been skinny. And so like I've never really like had a double take like, oh, my top is too revealing, whatever the case may be. And I also feel like that also comes from the fact that I've always kind of been insecure with my body shape. I think that I've always like had a mindset to like always kind of shop for more like covered up things, or like even like with like baggier fits of like clothes. I've kind of always kind of like lean, um not lean, but like played hand in hand with like those type of like fits. So yeah, I don't know, I feel like definitely I do believe that there is a lack of like modest clothes, especially in like a lot of these like big like stores, because right now it's all about embracing body shapes. And I'm not saying that's a wrong, but I'm just saying like because of that, like there's more revealing things. But I have seen a shift on like TikTok and like fashion TikTok where a lot of girls are like leaning more towards like not wearing crop tops anymore, wearing like fuller length tops. And I feel like it comes with the age, honestly. Like as you grow older, you just stop wanting to wear crop tops, you stop wanting to wear like certain things, and so like the way you dress starts to like reflect your age as well. And I think like I don't know, I definitely am seeing a shift with the way people are dressing now. But maybe that could just be like what I'm seeing. Exactly. It could just be like what I'm seeing. Like because I am on like Christian TikTok or like more of like a older like I guess TikTok algorithm. Like I am seeing more people like dress with more like a class and like prep and like sophistication, whatever the case may be, because that's just my cup of tea. That's what I like to look like. But at the same time, like there is still, that struggle with like finding modest clothes, because at the end of the day, the majority still like to, have those type of pieces out in their closet. But also, sorry, I do think it also plays a role in how your body is shaped as well. 'Cause I think the skinnier you are, the more you think you can get away with wearing certain things because like your body isn't out there, and I think that's not fair either. Because just because you have a flat chest doesn't mean you can wear a low V. Like it's still it's still unmodest. I don't care. But like it's because you don't have anything to show, you feel like you can wear it. But like at the end of the day, it's still not okay. We shouldn't use body as a way, like a loophole to get around modesty. Like let's stick to the facts. We should want to clothe ourselves with a certain type of respect. And if we're saying that because I don't have to think about other people looking at me in this way, I can wear whatever I want, then you're trying to like cut corners with God.
It's the cutting corners thing for me, because it's like, it's at the end of the day, it is about body shape, it is about these things, it is about this, but all these different type of justifications is running away from the main point. What is God telling you, and how is God telling you you should resemble him at the end of the day? Because 9 times out of 10, he's probably not telling you to resemble him in the shortest of stuff, and um whatever it may be. But I also think like, where you surround yourself is going to be what you want to dress like too. And like, when you were saying like that's what you're seeing, and I think it's because of what you're seeing and who you're around, but like 9 times out of 10, like it's not like that in the real world.
Yeah.
um and like, and where you, the environments that you're putting yourself in, you're going to want to reflect those types too. Because like, I remember, I think it was like maybe it was like Ashley who said it. She was like, "Oh, I want to shop at Zara because Joel shops at Zara." You know what I mean? Like it's because of like who you're around. Like
Mhm.
you're going to want to switch, and like you're going to want to like start to change. And I think
Mhm.
that's really important too, because like having people who you can like look up to, or you see who do live a modest lifestyle or have a modest like fashion sense is really important, because people like to put modesty with boring, and that's not the case. Like you can have an amazing fashion sense and you can still be modest,
Mhm.
and you can like still love clothes and be modest. This whole like idea about like when it kind of plays into when people talk about how Christianity is boring, but it's like you only think that because you don't want to further your relationship with God and get
Mhm.
closer to him, because it's not like there's so many fun things, and like there's beauty in modesty, and there's beauty in dressing like that, and it's like, oh, I can't wait till I get more money so I can buy more of
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like because like when like that switch happens for a lot of people, like it's literally like a purging of your old life. Like you have
Mhm.
people, you know, those videos when people are throwing away all of their closets,
Mhm.
and it's like because like you have to give like when you're made new in Christ, it's your whole life. It's not
Right.
your whole life and you keep your closet, because your closet doesn't represent like Christ. Probably, if we're being honest, my everything I'm saying is not like for somebody else, it's for myself at the end of
Mhm.
the day, because that was me and that is still me. Because like I said earlier, like that's how I'm being convicted now with like gym um clothes and stuff like that. Hence probably why I haven't been going. But um yeah, like it's a purging of your old life, because there's things that you would wear and the things that you would do is not a representation of the things that I'm doing now and the things
Mhm.
I want to further do, because it doesn't represent Christ. And clothes, as little as it may seem to some people, it is really big, because that's the first thing someone sees. And I think also like we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard now, because
Mhm.
it's like if you're in a position where like, oh, now we have the collective and like we're doing podcasts, and it's like you post videos on social media, it's like you can't live a double life. Like you can't have like, oh, I do all these things and then behind I'm still have this part of me that, oh, only some people can see.
Yeah. Is this actually something that I feel comfortable wearing, or am I just wearing it because it fits the environment I'm going into, or I'm entering in? But yeah, I think that's my take on modesty. Honestly, I just think that like some people don't want to hear the conversation, don't want to have this conversation just because they want to continue to wear what they want to wear. And I simply think that if you really want to have a genuine relationship with God and you want to be seen in like a if you want to be seen as a woman of God, like you should want to carry yourself in a certain way. And I also think that like even like I'm not trying to say that I'm not trying to give men a pass. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like as a woman, like, you should want to keep certain things to yourself. Like, you should want to, like, your body, like, you don't want everybody to look at you that way. You would only want that for your husband and whatever the case may be. But I just feel like yeah, like it's like I don't know. It's just kind of it kind of makes me think that like as I've that's what I say as I've grown older and as I've gotten closer to God, it's like I don't want anybody to see my body the same way like my husband in the future will see my body.
And when I feel like one thing that maybe I should have said in the beginning too is when we're talking about bikini, we're talking about like a bikini, because there are very modest two
Yeah.
pieces like the high rise or whatever. So it's not
There's a
like
difference between two piece and bikini.
yeah, bikini is what you get on Shein. But no hate to Shein, but you know what I mean. But like yeah, when I think of modesty and like stuff like that, like there's just a certain way that I do not want to be perceived by men. And I don't like when people say this, but sometimes like it's applicable in some situation. Like like there's no room for like anything, because everybody's
Mhm.
seeing you in every light, because most bikinis are like underwear these days. But yeah, modesty is something that you have to take up with you and God, and just ask him to reveal how he wants you to dress, because he will. I think sometimes we limit what God can do. He'll tell you how he wants you to dress. It's in the Bible, you know? So just having a heart for him will reveal to you how you should carry yourself as a woman of God.
I also think that
Here
the
she goes.
I also think that the problem with bikinis is the fact that you're posting yourself online as well. Like that's my issue for real.
Bikinis are made for posting.
Like some
You're
things
not swimming in it. No, they're not comfortable to swim in because I be in the water. She's a witness. I have this scar from jumping in the water. It's like they're not comfortable to swim in. It's not. Even when like you're on a swim team, they always tell you to wear one piece.
It's very true though, because like you're going to want to wear something that you can actually have fun in the water. And I genuinely think half the time, like the bikinis that are being worn are not for swim purposes. It's for
They don't get in the water.
yeah. So it's like if you're not gonna be in the water, if you're just gonna be walking around the beach, go put on a cover up,
Oh, bikini never even touch water. So.
please. At the end of the day, let's make sure that what we're doing is not for the sake of other people's attention gain. It's not for the sake of trying to get applause or eyes on us. Even the way what we wear for our birthdays, all this stuff, like let's think about all that stuff. Like why are we in lingerie for our birthday? Like let's actually deep it. Is it because no, for real? Okay, anyways.
They even cut us off. Thank you guys so much for watching today's podcast about modesty.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.